Hello, welcome to another one of Studio Central's live Facebook art demo videos. So we are part of Artbeat Studio, which is a nonprofit that believes in using art as a tool to help with our mental wellness. So we have an artist residency and an urban art studio across the hall from here where you can come in person and make some art. Right now, we have this live for anyone that can't make it in person at this time, or if you live far away. So the reason we're not in the studio though is because it's open right now with lots of people doing art. So we are here at Upbeat Artworks, the art gallery of Artbeat Studio. And since we have the opportunity to be in this gallery, we're going to show off some of the artists. Today we're going to read the bio of Brad, and then we'll get right into the art. So I will flip the camera around and Kate will read the bio while I show off some of his work.
Bradley McKay, a father of three, was born in Winnipeg in 1968 to a family of artists. His father was a painter, and Brad remembers drawing on the walls of his mother's house. He has always loved building things and learning by doing. In school, he was challenged by an art teacher and also took drafting, where he began working with geometrical ideas. For several years, he became a chef, worked in security, and took mediation workshops. He later graduated with honors as a counselor in addictions and community service. He volunteered on the Winnipeg City Committee for Safety, among others. He has been given the spirit name Thunderbird Malley. Since coming to Artbeat, which Brad says has brought out my inner artist, he's thinking differently about art and art history. I like Matisse, he adds. When he tells his story, you get it. I strive for that clarity. He is currently working in pen and ink, drawing straight from his sympathetic heart directly onto the paper. He also works in acrylics with added pastels on canvas and wood, drawing with paint, as he calls it. His interests include indigenous themes, emotional issues, tattoos, images, and abstract geometrical designs. He also writes poems and short stories. Brad says, whatever I'm focused on, I'm committed to. I don't stop until it's done perfectly. Photo by Johnny Peters, bio by Michael Rooney.
There's Brad. And now that we have our inspiration from looking at some beautiful art, we can get into the live. So I am not going to be joining the live today, but we have Kate leading, like she often does.
We have special guests here.
And we have some guests.
Very special, all three. We have Lisa here.
Lisa.
Hi. It's the first time for Lisa.
For those that don't know, Lisa is, what is your official?
I'm the studio facilitator at the artist residency, where we provide free studio space for up to 8 artists at a time on our Albert Street.
We have Tiffany.
I'm one of the artists who's gone through the residency program that Lisa was talking about.
Yes.
And we have Nature.
I'm just joining in. I'm Kate's daughter.
Special guest.
And I do all kind of things here. And what we're doing today, we're painting with acrylic. We call the live, did we call it weathering?
Yeah.
So what we're doing today, we paint weather we enjoy.
Yes.
And when we talk about weather, we know we're probably somewhere in Winnipeg. It's an everyday talk. And it can change, and it was rainy, and it's sunny and nice. Not too hot, and it's perfect. I think it's great to paint weather when the weather outside is great. So we can choose any mood we want, and I will share first what I'm doing here. So my idea is to not go with the weather that I can see here, even though I really enjoy summer. I love palms, I love the sea. I like it in the evening when it's not too hot. I like sitting where there's no sun at all near the window. That's all great. But what I want to see in my painting is not what I see here. So I want to keep the structure. I want to keep the basic elements, but I do not want to have painting exactly the way it is here. So you'll see the way it goes, where it goes to. And later, what I will do.
Ooh, spooky.
And well, we were thinking about mood, which mood can be, it's really inspiring what people like sometimes, because for myself, I never loved fall myself in my life. I painted a couple times, but I do not say it's my favorite season. So for myself, it's something really out of the range of my mood. So what's for you?
I have a picture of a beach, and it's really hot, and blue skies, and I do not like midday heat at all, but I'm pretending like my favorite weather is like after it's really hot later on in the evening. There's no mosquitoes, my dog is there, he can go swimming everywhere, and it's just like light, and you probably ate a bunch of hot dogs.
Do you like swimming at the beach?
I like swimming when the weather is perfectly temperate
Okay.
and I'm not at risk of getting brought out to the middle of the ocean where there might
Fair.
be
Fair.
a jellyfish.
Yeah. Or we imagining the ocean here.
Oh, that's fine. This is the ocean.
I was picturing like Lake Winnipeg.
Oh,
I was
I'm
like,
just expecting leeches at
oh
like,
yeah,
Winnipeg.
yeah.
And so I don't like to touch my toes to the bottom.
Or West Hawk Lake.
I don't know.
They're further away, but the water's very clear.
Oh, I do like clear water. I
Yeah.
also don't mind fish if I accidentally touch a fish.
Oh,
That's cool.
that's scary.
Tiffany.
I'm gonna do a little beach scene because I'm gonna pretend I like really hot weather. I like hot weather in theory, but not in practice.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do this as kind of, I'm gonna live vicariously through my picture.
It's very nice. Very nice. I think it's appropriate as summer is approaching.
Yeah.
To do warm weather one way or another. So we can pretend we like it as it approaches and be like, wow, I'm really excited for July.
I'm always excited about nice hot weather, and honestly, when I came to Winnipeg, I was freezing the first summer because it was cold for me and it was windy.
Only the
It wasn't
first?
the best summer. Only the first. Then I got used to it.
Then you went through the winter and you're like,
Then I went through the
whoa,
winter.
that
Yes.
winter is.
I got to things that make me feel warmer.
I'm going to set my camera up on Kate's image.
As usual, we have baby wipes here. Anyone can have some. We got acrylic. I brought two different kinds of acrylic paint. Well, this is apple barrel, but most likely I use Dollarama paints. It's very convenient because we have Dollarama just here, right here, and there are paints on this side. You can always ask me. I can. There is black, but I have two different white. So I put white right here for you. So this is mine. Okay, and then there is one more.
One more?
Okay, so I have everything I need. All right. So also, if you want to make a little sketch, I got it.
Oh, the pens, okay.
All right, now let's begin.
So the picture is mostly for inspiration, is that correct?
Yes, it's mostly for inspiration because what I'm going to do I don't want to actually keep the shade exactly the way it is. I don't want to repeat the detail. So it's for structure rather than colors.
Cool.
Even though I can keep some of it, but I am not planning to leave it the way it is. So just showing what I want to do with brown. I want to mix different shade of tan with it. I don't know what exactly you can see from here. Okay, I'll show it on this one, and I need a brush. There we go. So usually for nice sand, we could use anything white, brown, yellow. So I just take a little tiny bit of brown and mix it in and add some yellow in it. And here is nice flesh color, which we can always buy the way it is, but I always like having more than one shade of. So for painting, just convenient to prepare. Also, it's convenient to prepare brown the way it is. So I'm leaving a tiny bit of brown out, and I can always add. I have white, which is always the base for landscapes that are light enough. And as you noticed lately, I was creating art that was dark, and my greens were dark, everything was dark. I don't know, I feel like I was feeling this way. So usually I like starting with something that we can usually I begin with something I can, let's say, a lot of artists start with a horizon line just because it's easier to paint from there, so it gives the basic structure already, even if there is just only one horizon line. But here we have several lines which we can lift up a little bit, or we could just leave. So I did lift it up because I do not enjoy painting the sky that is too big, but it's better for the structure of the painting. So let's say I want it here. So I make a line and I don't like it, so this way I can just create another line. Make it a little bit down. So the point is, my painting is not really thin layer of paint. I like adding layer and layer and layer and create layers of. This way I am not being stuck with paint that is too thin. I don't like when the paint is too thin. I like thicker brush strokes. And that's what I'm going with. It doesn't mean that I like leaving lines of paint too much, but I am getting rid of them here on this particular painting. See, adding lots of white helps. And then I can make a spot of brown here and there. And I can blend here. I can add brown, blend it here and there. But if I don't want to leave this line too obvious, I can always start blending a different color, different shade, so I don't leave this line out. So I'm going a little bit in and spread it out, so we don't have a very definite line right here. And as you noticed, I use dry brush usually. First of all, it doesn't drop everywhere. Second, it's a good thing to pick up to not add too much water. And then do I want to add yellow? Yes, I can add yellow. And then I can take a smaller brush and I can start adding real detail. But here, it's not solid one color. The sun is just yellow. You can always add, remove the real tiny white spots here and there. Or clouds. So I can pass the conversation to our lovely guests.
Can they hear us from over here, or do we need to reposition?
We can reposition the camera and actually point it onto what you are doing.
Sure.
Is it okay? Can you do
Try
that?
my best.
Can you talk with me now?
That's beautiful, Kate.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna
my new Ray tripod. Here's Minotaur's small
Just
scene.
working on the background right now. I'm going from light to dark here. I'm gonna start with like the blue, like sort of blue color in the background. And afterwards I'll add like red, orange, and then I'll add like a darker color at the end, probably. That's just how I like to work when it comes to painting, light to dark.
Thank you, Minotaur. I'll move over here to Tiff. Tiffany, what can you tell us about the piece that you're working on?
It's very impressionistic because I'm not very good with acrylics. I'm not very practiced with them. So I'm just kind of trying to make the clouds now on top of the background, and it's working okay.
So did you fill, is that white on top of opaque blue? Or
Yes.
did you kind of leave some negative space to fill in the clouds?
No, that would have been smart, but I didn't do that.
It's just a different way.
It's a good idea, though.
Okay, thank you. Tiff.
Yeah.
And this is mine. If you keep hearing thumping sounds, it's because my legs keep hitting the tripod. So this is the piece that I'm working on. As a reminder, this was my inspiration, but I wanted it like later at night when it wasn't so hot. And I have a friend coming who might be able to help me do the camera because I keep hitting the tripod. But basically, I wanted this like feeling of the beach scene, but I wanted it to be at night or like later on in the day. So then I turned it into a sunset. And so that's what I'm working on now. And I'm gonna sit down right away. And so I'm not gonna be making small talk for a second while I figure out how to transition the camera off of the iPad so it doesn't keep hitting my feet. Okay, so now that it's not on the on the tripod, but you can see how I would get the word iPad and tripod mixed up. I'm going to continue to work on this piece by holding up the camera. No. I also just want to show, because this is always really exciting to me about the work of seeing various artists in the residency working at the same time on different projects, is that everyone has such diverse techniques that they work on their pieces with. So for example, I worked on this piece for a total of maybe 3 minutes, and I have used all of these paintbrushes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 paintbrushes. Whereas, Minotaur, how many paintbrushes have you used?
One.
One!
I'll use 2.
And Tiff's used 2. Kate, how about you?
2
2.
so far.
Okay, so we all have different techniques just in terms of the paintbrushes that we're using and why we use them. So I think at this point, I'm pretty much done with the sky at this point. So I'm gonna fill in, this is my horizon line. I'm gonna fill in the base. I also don't think I'm gonna do a beach because we don't really have like ocean beaches here. That's not my norm. So I'm probably gonna be kind of like a gravelly beach with maybe some rocks on it, and that's just the reality of most of our beaches here in Manitoba. And I'm also going to show you, I much prefer putting the paint on the actual canvas when I have. So the other 3 artists who are working right now are working on, it looks like canvas paper or like watercolor paper. Whereas I'm working on canvas board, so it reacts and responds differently to acrylic paint. And so this is canvas board, so I like applying it right on the board because it does kind of it's called like a scrubbling technique. And usually with acrylic paint, I like to start light and move dark, whereas I
do the opposite for oil.
So I'm gonna start by maybe doing like, this is a silver, maybe I'll do some silver.
And I also like to do darker at the top because that's like the distance, and then lighter at the bottom because that's the foreground, so that's closer to us. You hear the sound of my brush. That's because I'm doing this technique on the trees. It's a very easy technique where you basically just take a dry brush and you just do this, and it kind of sort of looks like leaves. And it's kind of an easy way to get this sort of nice texture there. And this is what a lot of people do when they want this sort of texture, like to kind of look like leaves or something like that, without actually doing like these little individual brush strokes, which will take a very long time. So it's just a faster way to do things. So here I've applied my blobs, and now I don't like to do the same brush strokes over and over because I find that it does not as much movement. Yeah, so I often will do like crisscross. I also do like globs of paint, especially if I'm working quickly. So I would say the lives that we're doing right now, they typically last about an hour. And for me, that's a very quick paint job. So I like to leave texture on my painting right from the get-go, whereas if I was working on a piece that would take me a few days, which is typically what I do, then I would ensure that my first layer, so this is considered my first layer, I would ensure that the first layer is quite flat, and that would allow me to make changes and move around with some of the textures later on. So this isn't what I pictured in my mind when I started putting the colors down, but here we are. So we're gonna work with it. Oh, this kind of looks like a canola field. So I think, yeah, you know what? That's what we're gonna turn this into. Prairie canola field. And my dog Bambi would also absolutely love to run around in this canola field. So this one's for Bambi. And I hope that he has many, many more opportunities to run in a canola field with me and not get any ticks on his big, beautiful body. So I think I'm actually, I'm going to add some of this dark brown on top of this kind of like burnt umber or ochre color, and that's just to give a bit more definition. So this is, now that I've covered my entire palette, or sorry, my entire canvas with its base color, I'm going to go back in with a dry brush. So a dry brush simply means that I haven't touched any water to it. And normally if I had access to my own paintbrushes, I would get a fan brush, like this. So this is a fan brush. Honestly, I don't know what they're typically used for. I think like Bob Ross uses them to do like billowing clouds. But what I'm gonna do is just take a little bit of this brown and then kind of brush it off. So you can see it's kind of streaky, and that's what I want. And I'm gonna just play around to try and make some kind of like grassy or canola-y movements here. There we go, I like that. So, oh, hi Faye. So yeah, and I'm not,
I missed something.
I don't know, I just, Faye popped on the screen, so I'm just saying hello. Yeah. So right now I'm just kind of dragging this brown dry brush, streaky dry brush, through the still wet ochre. And I like that it's still wet because it means it's not going to be so harsh. But then I have to deal with the reality of it pulling down the ochre. So we're just going to keep adding brown and see how that goes. I also just want to give myself like a pat on the back or a gold star or like a smelly sticker, because I am holding the phone camera with one hand, and I am talking, and I am painting. So I would say that this is quite a skill and worthy of putting on a resume.
That's not, I could not do that.
Thank you for
I can't even
this.
do two of those things at once.
So thank you for this validation, and this is also a prop to Artbeat for giving me the space to try to expand my skill set. And you too would have an opportunity to expand your skill set in a safe and encouraging community where maybe you can also try to paint with one hand, talk, small talk even. You might even learn how to small talk like I'm working on at the moment, and make some art at the exact same time. Okay, so as you can see, so I'm really just kind of working at this as we go. I don't have a plan, but I do like how it's turning out, and I like that this horizon line here is darker because that provides a bit more depth. And originally I thought when I was getting the brown on the fan brush that I would bring it into the forward as well, but I think I'm just going to keep it at the top. I'll bring it down a bit more than it is, but I'm going to keep it at the top and then do a slightly lighter brown towards the foreground at the bottom, and that will continue to allow depth. And also one of the things, so at the top I'm doing quite short brush strokes because as you look into the distance, the grass or the canola has like smaller strands. I'm not sure what you call, like hair has strands, but canola doesn't have sheaths. I don't know. The point is that it's smaller, but when you look in the oh shoot, no big deal, we're just dropping paint. Thank you. But when you look in the foreground or like whatever grass is closer to you, then those streaks of grass, okay, what are, they're not streaks and they're not strands. Blades!
Blades of strands, yeah.
There we go. So if you come to Artbeat, you will also learn new terminology.
Is this one?
Yes.
Okay, and we're bringing the brown down. So I'm just thinking, if I were to put music on right now, what music would I put on? And I'm like at this very moment, it would differ if it was 24 hours ago, but at this very moment, I would probably have my phone on shuffle for Chappell Roan's all of her essentials. So her album that came out last fall, but also, you know, her Good Luck Babe song.
Wasn't there that one that went viral? I don't remember.
The Good Luck Babe one?
The HOT.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one. I don't know. But I saw it all over YouTube.
Yeah. Hot to go. Okay. Because this sun is hot. So, I'm really liking how this is turning out, and I'm going to take a lighter brown than this. This, I think we would call this a burnt umber brown. Let's see what it actually is called. Yeah, burnt umber, cool. So I'm gonna see if I can find a lighter brown. I think this, I'll try
It's
this.
like a more warm brown.
Yeah, warmer brown. Burnt sienna. So I'm also, it would be nice, but this is just like personal preference. I really like working with dry brushes on top of like when I'm working quickly on top of my first base. But because I don't have another fan brush, I'm just going to try and scrub this off as much as possible on a clean area of my,
We have wet wipes.
but I don't want, I want
Oh,
it
you
as
want
dry
it
as
to be dry.
possible.
Ah, yes.
So thank you.
Wet dry wipe. I don't know.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm okay. I'm working it
Work
out.
with what you got.
Yeah. And this is also what I use at home for a palette. So I kind of rotate between two different things depending on the medium that I'm working with. But if I'm working with acrylic paint on a piece, I will use exclusively like Tupperware, like the kind that we usually throw away, like lids, like sour cream lids. What's this, yogurt lid? This is a yogurt lid. And then I can use both sides, and I don't worry about cleaning it. I just throw it out afterwards. Or if I have a lot, I'll just like therapeutically peel off the paint.
That's always fun.
Yeah. So here I've like cleaned off my fan brush as much as I care to at the moment, and I flipped over my palette, so I basically have a clean sheet. I'm just putting a little bit of that lighter brown on and just dipping a bit in. So now it's on my brush, and I think it's dry. I think my preference for it to be a bit drier, but here we are. And I'm gonna put it on my piece kind of midway, halfway down through the field area. And I'm gonna drag it further than I did on the darker brown because these are longer wheat blades.
That's the word we decided.
This is it. So as you can see, I think it was Maytar that was talking about the kind of like the dabbing or whatever that gives the illusion of tree like foliage.
Texture.
So I'm doing something similar with these. So the idea is that when you look really close up, it just looks like a bunch of like little sponges or dots. But when it's further away and like you're taking in the picture as a whole, it looks like it gives the illusion of individual blades of grass. Whereas if you were like actually took a super fine paintbrush, you did all these tiny brushes, when you took a step away, it would not look like that.
Yeah, and it's just, painting isn't necessarily about painting things exactly as how they are, but it's more so about the illusion of detail sometimes.
And it's, sorry, Maytar.
Well, it depends on the style. Like sometimes you can go really detailed, but usually that's like at the end. Because if you go very detailed at the start of a painting, then it's like you might have to go on top of it, and all that detail is just, you know, kind of wasted. So usually at the start of a painting, people kind of go more simplistic or blocky, or, you know, just start painting in the colors. You know, that's kind of what I'm doing. Like, it's not, I don't know what this is, but it'll come together soon, hopefully. Right now I'm literally just adding the colors, adding in some blocking. And usually, like an hour in painting for me is like a very short amount of time. Like painting for me takes way longer than that. But I would say this one is a bit more on the simple side. Maybe not when it comes to color, because it has like two completely contrasting colors, like this light blue and this like deep red. It's quite difficult to get that right. I'm gonna try my best here. And I thought it was a really cool picture, so.
I guess I should have started a little bit bigger because I'm already done.
Oh yeah. Well, if I went smaller, maybe I would have been like halfway done, but I'm not even halfway done. So
I'm gonna go over here to Tiff. So here we are with Tiff. I don't know how long we're into this live. Does anyone have a phone time check?
We are at 1:33.
Okay, so we're half an hour in,
Yeah.
and
And I
Tiff
finished early. I don't
has
usually finish early.
completed this piece.
Yeah.
Tiff, would you like to say anything about this? Did anything surprise you?
I was having trouble with the clouds because always blending in between the blue and the red is tricky.
Yes.
So I was trying really hard to use a dry brush that had just a little bit of the red left in the bristles to kind of bring it over this way. And then I did the horizon line again with the mountains or whatever, really tiny off in the distance, and then with a straight line for the ocean. And it's kind of blending into the sand here, so you can kind of see like waves. And then I put some footprints on it that are kind of the wrong size, but it's okay.
You know what? The water washes up. And
Yeah.
it changes. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I did.
Cool, thank you. So this is Tiff's palette.
I also use this one.
This one, and then 2 brushes.
2 brushes and like 6 baby wipes. They're all orange.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is my piece so far. I'm not sure what I'm going to do at this point. At this point, I would probably work with a bit of fluorescence just to make, kind of go over with some thicker lines and bring out some details. And I might do that yet. And then probably also go over with a paint pen or a Sharpie, just to make some really clean, fun lines. Maybe draw a silhouette of my dog, the best boy in the world. And then we're going to go over and catch up with Kate. Kate, how's it going over here?
This might take quite some time to get it together, but it's good so far. Thank you.
I love the color.
It's more detail, but again, I like using this brush, but it will not take me 2 days or 3 days. It will take forever. So I'm trying to find a way in which I can actually get to not too much detail, but I focused on the sky so far.
Mm-hmm.
That works out for now. I will paint the palm quickly, and I think that I can just paint the sand first, and then put the chair on, and then we can wrap up, and then I will be just working on it for some time.
Kate, do you have like a preference in working with skies? I know some artists like really love doing skies. Some people don't love it, but usually people feel some type of way about doing skies in art pieces. What about you?
I'm not an experienced artist with any kind of a sky, because what I was doing before was so abstract that when I painted the landscape, that would be way more abstract than what we're painting right now, and it's not the same thing for me right now, because I'm way closer to what I see.
Right.
Because when I started, I wanted to paint something that I did not see myself.
Mm-hmm.
So
So being able to like use your imagination.
yes, I
to
was
work a bit
never
more.
experienced with painting exactly what I see, because I never had this goal
Right.
to begin with. So even when I paint, I simplify because I understand how much time it can take from me.
Mm-hmm.
So even like something simple, it can take forever.
Right.
Because I see too much detail in it.
And I think you kind of
I
like
don't
drop
want it.
into the project.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't want it. I want the way to actually simplify things and make them faster,
Yeah, that makes sense.
which is the whole idea of art, is how to create without spending years on that.
Right.
For myself. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing.
I think it looks wonderful. I love how you pulled the colors from the top into the bottom. The purples
have
from
for
the
now.
clouds. I love how you've pulled that into the sand in the bottom. It reflects so nicely.
Okay. I actually will start liking it already.
Yeah, it looks wonderful.
awesome, Kate.
Look at that. Yeah, this is amazing. Look at the blending you've got going on.
Yeah, so I would remove all this. I hate this.
Oh,
Like some
okay.
artists leave them out. I don't like that.
So
I'm
you're gonna
trying to
blend it out.
Blend it completely.
But it also adds that color into the sand, so it still pulls that out.
Yes, and
yeah.
I know that someone would be comfortable with this. I just don't feel comfortable with it myself.
That's okay.
And there is, this. I don't want to talk about the fine line between it should be like this and it.
That's the
it
thing,
doesn't
right?
have
There's
to
no
be.
should in art.
That is just what I like, what I don't like.
Yeah, it's just what you want to do. There's no should. Let's take a look at what Maytar's doing here.
Right now I am working on the trees.
Looks wonderful. You've got really good definition going on there.
Yeah, I tried to go with lighter, more sheer opacity when it comes to like the ones in the back.
Yeah.
with like the ones in the foreground, I want them to be like a dark black, the darkest color on the page.
Yeah, that you've really got that going on there. I'm really, really, really impressed with that. That's really cool.
It's like, if I had more time, I would probably go like individually shape the little
Mhm.
branches and stuff. I can do that later, actually.
Yeah, if you have more time later. But no, this looks wonderful. It looks like they're foggy in the background, just like the picture.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to
Yeah.
go for. Like a sort of like it's kind of foggy and it's fall and it's a forest and it's a little scary.
Yeah, I think you're definitely pulling that through.
And it's also beautiful at the same time.
Absolutely. Let's go check on Lisa. Here's Lisa's. Ooh, finger
so I decided
painting.
to add a tree because I heard Mentor talking, and it made me realize I was really missing out on the opportunity to do a sad, lonely tree hang out on the prairies, which is like a pretty common scene
Yeah,
as soon as you leave Winnipeg.
there's always one.
Yeah. I also love working with my hands.
Yeah, finger painting is great.
It is quite a bit darker than I was expecting, so I'm gonna add some other colors. Actually, this might be fun.
Well, the thing with painting trees is that you can, a lot of the times I actually do like to do black at first, and then I can add like brown or
Yeah, I like
Orange or yellow on top. It's
Oh,
really
yeah.
nice.
I like that yellow. Pulls out some of the sky.
things I didn't think about.
That's one of the fun things about art, though. You can always add more when you think of it. And as you can see, it's a very messy table.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say this because I often tell artists in residency, it's okay not to like your art. I hate this piece at the moment, but I also, there's just some pieces I don't like. I'm gonna keep working on it, and I still have some ideas, but right now, like, all I want in life is super vibrant, almost like neon violet, and maybe some gold leaf, and so then I start to be like, oh, if you only had that, like, would be perfect, but like, isn't perfect.
Don't always get what you want.
These are the life lessons from live demos with art. Yeah, but I'm gonna, I'm not sure. Oh, actually, I did find this color, which I haven't used yet.
It's a lovely color,
And
yeah.
I really, really want to use this. So I'm gonna also use a bit of a detail brush, which I haven't used. No, actually, no, I don't want to use it. I want this because it feels nice. I'm just gonna apply it right to here. And see how that.
Oh, they're very vibrant.
Yeah. We're not getting anything from that. Still nothing. There's a couple of reds here.
Yeah, there's like a
Yeah.
Red is a popular color. Oh, you.
See, I like that.
red's a good color.
Just like a few kind of thicker streaks.
Red's my second favorite color.
But what zodiac sign are you? What zodiac sign are you?
zodiac sign
When's your
am
birthday?
November 27.
Scorpio? Does that make sense?
Nope.
Nope.
It's the next one.
Sagittarius.
Cool.
I'm not sure what that means, but
It's your fire sign. And you're a philosopher.
it's good.
Let's go check on Kate again.
Okay.
Looks like Kate's got her whole page covered now.
Yes.
Wow. Look
I
at
did not
that.
start detailing or anything like that yet, so I'm just going with.
Just blending, huh?
Yeah, going little by little.
Okay, I think I'm gonna scrub it out a bit because I
Right
want to
here.
add things to it.
Yeah, it looks wonderful.
Yes.
There's the reference right there. You can see both at the same time.
I can't even wait for it to dry before adding stuff, and I know it's always like a mistake.
Very lovely.
But it's okay because it'll dry eventually and it can go on top.
Let's check out Matar again. Oh, look, you're getting to the leaves now.
Yeah,
very,
going
very cool.
on top again with some more bright red. I kind of went with like a more muted black on top. I
Yeah.
kind of want to make it pop a bit more.
Yeah, it's very cool.
I enjoy these colors together a lot.
It pulls open. Pull on the lock. Yeah, pull on that. Oh, sorry, push. Oh my goodness.
There we go. I like to do this like sort of dabbing thing.
Mhm.
And I think I saw this in Bob Ross's paintings as well, like just this sort of thing. You can also do this with the fan brush. I'm using like a flat brush, but it works well with the fan brush as well. I'm just gonna go with this red on top of the black to give it like more dimension. So the
Yeah, it
black
really makes it pop.
kind of looks like the shadows and the red looks like, you know, the foreground itself. And then after I go with this red, I'll probably go with black on top for the
Nice.
trees to make them pop out a bit more.
That's really cool.
It's just layering upon layering upon layering. That's what I love.
Let's get a close up here. Look at all those details in the brush strokes. That's amazing.
And it's fun because it's actually not much detail itself at all, but it kind of looks more detailed.
Yeah, it
Because
gives
when you look at the picture, it's like there's a lot of leaves. And
Yeah. You can't really paint those all individually. It just doesn't work.
well, you can, but it would be extremely difficult, and you'd have to use an extremely tiny brush, and it would take you probably a year to paint it all.
No, that's wonderful.
I'm actually a fan of how this is turning out. I wasn't sure at first, but I like it so far.
Yeah.
I'd say a big part of it is probably just the reference image I chose.
You picked a really good one.
I always spend like an hour looking for reference images before even making a drawing. Because it's like, if the reference image is bad, like I can make a good picture out of a bad reference image, like a blurry one.
Mhm.
But when it's more clear, it can help
Yeah,
when it comes to like making things more detailed.
makes sense.
But a lot of the time, a more or less detailed image can actually help you be more creative with things. Actually,
Mhm. Gives you a little more freedom.
yeah. It is more difficult to do details, but it gives you more creative
Yeah.
freedom, I would say, than just copying something,
Yeah.
which is really easy to do when you have the picture in front of you. You kind of
Exactly.
just want to copy it. I try not to do that unless that's my goal, which right now it's not. I just kind of want to do something similar.
Yeah. No, it looks really good. And we're back to Kate again. Oh, she's working on the chair now. Very cute. I always find these chairs very hard to paint. The Adirondack chairs.
I say it's not hard to paint it. It's
For me, it is.
Yeah, I have trouble with them. Yeah.
the right way.
I cannot paint chairs.
So whatever I'm getting here.
It's difficult, but for some people maybe it's not. But
Yeah.
it's practice. I know.
Yeah, just like anything else. No, Kate, it looks wonderful.
Yeah. So what's left is the palm, and then I can get to detailing. And detailing, I think we could do after. So the palm, I don't have black on my palette, so I'm just getting the random purple whatever I have here.
I'm always terrified when I do stuff like that. When I paint on top of something that I've already done.
No, I'm not like.
But I'm not used to acrylic,
I love
so
the background the way I don't worry about that, and I taught myself to not worry and put more layers.
Yes.
Maybe with time I would remove a couple of them, but I like working with layer and layer and layer,
Mhm.
making sure I can always cover what I'm doing.
yeah.
So I do not worry if I did not like it like at first,
Yeah.
because I made myself to actually work with. Okay, leave it this way. I can make it look good. I can work on detail here. I can go with the cloud after. I don't have to do it right now. So I'm putting the structure on first. Basic, then I'm moving to detail. I don't say I'm patient enough to get to that stage, always. But when I get to, I get to. When I don't get to, oh well.
Yeah.
I have two goals when creating art for myself right now. It's, first of all, it's like from the very beginning, it's don't panic, right? Don't panic when you do something wrong. But my two goals are always, that's okay if it does not look the way it's supposed to, because there is no supposed to. I actually want to create something original rather than follow exactly what's on the image. But also, each time I have something I like working on, so minimalism for what I'm doing here, to not look, like to look at the whole picture instead of looking at each detail. So it's just a different type of focus, which gives me the opportunity to not go for exact same thing. I don't say I don't follow like what I see, right? But I want to do it mindlessly because I want to focus on something different rather than the direction it goes to, because it's already automatic. So I can focus on shade, on color, and just advancement day by day, painting by painting, adding little tiny bit. It's just choosing different things that I'm not comfortable with at first, and you're never comfortable with something you've never painted. You can
Gotta
just,
push your comfort zones.
yeah, and not to stress over whatever someone can do. Okay, I never painted this, I can do whatever I want here. And someone does it with purple, it won't be purple maybe with time, but I can repaint it, I can add it, I can remove, I can change things.
That's nice
And
about
just,
acrylic.
yeah,
You can layer
I
it.
don't want to say, okay, from the very beginning it has to look like this, because I don't have this time. And also giving yourself less time, just less time than what you want to have at home. At home I would spend forever just on painting this, right?
Look at those details.
Yeah, so I know that I admire artists who can actually pursue that, who can actually spend this time.
Look at those details. Those are beautiful.
So see, just
Shading and everything. It's lovely.
and there is no purple there. Just that I didn't put black on my palette for some reason. So I can throw in all kind of colors. It could be orange, could be blue, anything. So what I'm creating is definitely not something. So I'm just showing different colors that can go in here. So it could be anything. Could be white on top, even though I don't like it. And then on top of this white, I can add some yellow. So I can create a very light shade of yellow right here.
Yeah, and it looks like a highlight.
Yeah, even though I don't like highlights on the palms, I don't see it here, right? But you never know how it looks like, so I can try, and I don't like it, I can always remove it, I can add pink. So this is just a little thing I did here, and you know, you can work on it forever, because this is actually really enjoyable to do it with different colors rather than...
Yeah, I love the different colors you've gotten in there. Look, when you get in close, you can see there's some pink and some blue and some almost yellowy orange. And look at all that color. That's wonderful.
And we can always mix green with anything else. And there is lots of orange going on here, so it can be just a mixture. But do not forget to actually clean your brush in between. This way you're getting a way nicer.
Yes, otherwise you'll get muddy colors.
What about black? Yes, absolutely, add black. I just don't have black again. I just do not take it. It doesn't mean it doesn't belong there. Do I want to add it? Yes, thank you. I got black now.
The lost is found.
Perfect. So I can add black to each of these little details. So I like outlines. I like little
Looks like
brush
shadows,
strokes.
yeah.
So I can add shadows after. I can leave it without shadows, and I'll be okay with it. So I'm just easygoing with what I make. And I do not like this white right here, so I would definitely cover it over with
Let's check on Maytar again. It looks wonderful, Kate.
Thank you.
Right now I'm going with the
Oh, sorry, Kate.
little
My elbow.
Posca marker.
Oh, okay.
I'm going in with more branches because there's like these tiny little ones here.
Yeah.
And I find that the paintbrush doesn't get all that detail.
It's a little too thick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just really love just adding like a million branches because it's just so fun and mindless, and I can just do it without thinking. Well, there's a little bit of thinking, but
Yeah.
not too much.
No, it looks really nice. I love the detail you've got in there.
So I love adding bits of black, because black goes with everything.
No, it's really beautiful. I love the detail you've got in there.
Thank you. And these paint markers are really good for just adding tiny little,
Yeah, little stringy branches.
yeah, they're really good for that. Although, if you're going on top of wet paint, be careful because it can get messed up easily. So you actually,
okay.
you generally want to go on top of like dry.
So you want to let it dry before you do the Posca markers, eh?
Because it's not like, you don't really use these for blending, you use these for a more clean line. But yeah.
Very cool. Let's go check on Lisa.
So I'm ready to show what I have here.
Oh,
I
Kate's ready.
did not,
Very cool.
Sorry. I'm ready to show what I have here. So this is something basic for now, and working on detail again, as much as I want to work on it today, and it might not be finished, or it can be finished in 5 seconds. That depends on the mood. So this is this type of the image you want to work on for longer, because you see this, you see leaves, you want to add here and there. And right now it looks messy because all the rough edges, I did not remove them because I was going to work on real detail. Right? But we can come back to Lisa now.
Okay.
Yep, we got just a couple minutes left.
Finished it.
Here's my tree. I'll just leave it down and we can talk about it. Here's my tree. The background is all acrylic. I did not have this planned. Here it is. Here are little hearts, but they kind of look like strawberries or balloons. I'm not sure. I don't know where they're going, but they're hanging by little squiggly lines. And it says, maybe just cry it out forever and ever. Amen.
I like that.
Thank you. And then I sign my name. And then I think it's June 14th.
It is, yes.
There we go.
Yeah.
And that's my little
Looks great.
5x7, 7x5.
I really like all the colors and the shading you've got in the ground there. With
Oh,
the-
I also I never put text on my paintings ever.
Mhm.
So, but here we are.
Nice to try something new, eh?
Yes.
Alright, and Maitra, I always admire how Maitra starts from something I never would start with.
It's so cool.
And it appears to be beautiful.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's just my vision. I do the blue first, and you're like, what the heck are you doing? Like,
No,
this looks weird.
It looks great.
But I just do a lot of layering, kind of like.
You would with clothes, and it looks weird at first, but trust me, just trust the process.
That's a good way to do it. I always start with whatever's in front, and then I have to go around it.
Yeah, I hate doing that because, especially when it's something that you're doing that dabbing technique on. Because as you can see, if you do this first, if you try to do the blue on top, you're gonna have to go around all that, and that's gonna be extremely difficult.
Yeah, it really pays off.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of painting is actually planning. It depends on the kind of art you're doing, but sometimes there is a bit of planning involved. And if you don't have it right, you can go on top and try again. It's not.
It's my fault.
Well, Kate, do you have anything to say to wrap up? We got about a minute left.
Yes, let's wrap up, and I will be working on detail and seating probably, or I can still leave the easel. I was learning on how to work with the easel for some time. It was so uncomfortable, and I was never getting the details in standing.
Mm-hmm.
If you try, artists were telling me it's easier for them to work and get more detail while they're standing. I was never reaching that. When I stand, I kind of more of a talker. If you notice, it's easier for me to talk when I stand, even with the mic in my left hand. it was okay. But
Mhm.
when I sit down and I focus on detail, it's really, the conversation just goes on somewhere, and I stop listening. So yes, this way it's just easier for me to be a little bit more present. Painting, yes, it does not get as much detail as I want to, but it's more enjoyable, so I think that's a great.
Mhm. It's gorgeous. I know you're not as happy with it as you want to be, but I think it's beautiful. And I'll pass it back to Ollie.
Yeah, I will say goodbye for today. We'll see everyone next week for the solstice. Yes.
Indigenous Peoples' Day.
Oh, yeah. Have a good week.
Bye.